guys know, I host the Celestic podcast, Celestic Intelligence podcast, and I have tons of notes in my phone. I have like it's going on like over 40 now of these topics that come to mind, and some of them just keep on coming up, and this one is one that keeps on coming up for me. And I think I was listening to a podcast, and I can't remember which one it was right now. But if I can remember which one it was, I'll pop it into the chat. Yeah, I'll have to pop it into the chat. Okay, so the I put truth compartmentalization, and this is actually a term I learned from watching InfoWars back, years ago. I don't watch it anymore, but I used to. And he was talking about how, the government is very compartmentalized, like the military is compartmentalized, and the government is very compartmentalized, meaning like, you know, certain areas will get like certain information and then certain areas will get another information, and they don't know that each has different information. They don't ever really connect. And so, that thought has been going through my mind for quite some time. And obviously, it's kind of like ruminates there. And so I muse on it often of like, oh, compartmentalization. And then I was listening to this podcast, and the guy was talking about, he was talking about the Nephilim. He was talking about orphanages and how we really don't have them around anymore. They're kind of concentrated in certain countries. And he was talking about how, hi, Trusha. He was talking about how it seems like they are harvesting, like growing and harvesting these babies. And like nobody knows about it because this information is not in the top news media that you would see. And so it kind of goes unseen. It's almost like compartmentalized. So I started thinking about how, because he was talking about some spiritual stuff. So obviously with the Nephilim and with, I guess the whole thing that just began the conversation was that these babies were being harvested so that these other entities, these outer dimensional beings or other dimensional beings, had bodies that they could come into. Hi, Kaylin. And so it was interesting to me because he was talking about, now, like I've read the Bible, so I know a little bit about the Bible. Probably more than most because I was such a nerd on it for so many years, like reading the scriptures and committing them to memory. But he was talking about how, like, in the book of Enoch, and then in these apocrypha books, and then also in the Quran, how it talks about these other dimensional beings, and it just got me to thinking about that compartmentalization, and it just got brought up again. What lady? Bonjour de France. Hello, DJ Nikki. Hello, Michael. Oh, yes, the Bible. Yeah. So, anyhow, I'm like sitting there thinking, we've got there's like so much information out there. It's almost as if, and this is like a could it be, I'm not making any claims, but it just seems like there is this religious compartmentalization, just like in the government compartmentalization and the military compartmentalization. I guess those are kind of both the same, that they can. American Dream, hello. In France, we don't say Bible, but Bible. Did I read it wrong? Bible. Okay. Well, thank you for watching from France. So, I'm thinking about this government, like how the government will compartmentalize information. And then I'm thinking, like, oh, okay, maybe there is like this divine purpose behind separating all this information out and holding it in these ages that they've been held in, so that in the time that it's ready, the people will have their eyes unveiled and then they can see these truths and then what is there. So it's like this new frontier of information is available to us. Oh yes, very good. Je suis impression. Impressionné. I don't know if I said that right. It's been many years since I took French class. So, in my mind, I'm just like putting that together, and that's just something that kept on coming up. And I went to this funeral on Wednesday, and after the funeral, we went to a bar, and we're all sitting there, and I had a drink, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm chatting with this girl, and she is basically bringing the same information up, and I'm like, is there a vibration out there right now, that this frequency that people are on, that this is true, that this is being revealed to us at the moment? Because it came in really strong. Like, I'm telling you, I have this really long list of topics that I want to talk about, and I'm reviewing it, and I'm just like, oh, okay, there's got to be something there. If I can just meet a random young lady at a bar and we sit and we're having this conversation about 5D, like, you guys, if you ever have a conversation with me, just know that it's going to get really deep really fast. There's like no barriers whatsoever. I'm just like, oh, you're cool with it? Let's talk about it. And sometimes with people that I like, I'm like, I don't really want to overwhelm them. But at the same time, you have to be really authentic with yourself. There is two worlds, world with power and another world without power, who can change the world. I mean, the world, what is that? What is the world? It's like this 3D. You guys, I might be really trippy, but like, the world is like this 3D realm that, on some level, most of us are in agreement with what to call things, like even colors. Like, we all agree, okay, that's a color. Some people don't see those colors. And, in my world, I'm like even more tripped out. Like, I'm kind of even further back. Like, it's a miracle that two people can agree on anything. Being that our lives are all different, our experiences are all different. Like, we're all these like one-time imprints. There's no clones of us. I mean, we could try to clone ourselves, but it's never going to be us. So, so really, what is the world? Like, the world is like, I'm looking at myself like I'm just this frequency being running around and like, boom, existing, and thinking that it's like miraculous that we can even have this conversation right now about whatever whatever I'm talking about at any given moment. So is is that I got a question. Somebody asked me a question the other day, and they said, "Hey," because I strongly feel that we have soul contracts, like we agreed to come into this 3D realm. But then I also believe that we have, under the universal law of consent, free will and self-determination. And I'm like piecing all these things together, and somebody just says to me, babies that come into this world were forced into the world. They're forced into this life. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not. That's not true. If, from all of my study of government, you can't you can't have that force be there. Nobody forced you to do anything. In fact, it's your release and your kind of giving away of your own power. They call it power of attorney or whatever. That's when, like, if you have somebody that's elderly that can't think for themselves, or even like a child, you have to sign a power of attorney to make decisions for them if you're not their parent. And so, with that same power, you can give power of attorney over to your government agency and say, I'm giving you my agency. I want you to manage the security of the United States of America. I want you to manage the supplemental food benefits that you're giving. I want you to manage our military. I want you to manage, you're giving away your agency if you're not doing it for yourself. Because if you do it for yourself, that's a lot of power and responsibility. And it is you having your own personal authority over your life is a big responsibility. So, so when you start giving away your agency and you think like, oh, I'm going to give my agency to the president, he's going to save me. It's never going to happen. You think it is, it's external validation, but you're giving your agency away because the law is the law of consent. You've got to consent to it. You consent to giving your agency away. So really, what is what is the world? What is power? Thank you, Christos. I thought you were talking about this conversation is beautiful. I agree with that. This is a really deep conversation. So anyhow, that being said, there is a lot of I'm right, you're wrong stuff that goes on in religion. It doesn't matter which one it is at this point. I haven't seen one where I haven't seen it happen. And when you're stuck in that paradigm of I'm right, you're wrong, whatever I say goes, is the truth, and anything you say is not the truth because I hold the truth and you don't, is you're trying to control somebody, but it's like you don't believe what you're saying to be true so much that you have to impress on somebody else and try to control their thoughts and their beliefs to believe what you believe, because on a really on an underneath the surface piece you don't believe it. Like, you don't truly believe that if you have to I'm right, you're wrong convince somebody that what you're saying is true. So as far as the compartmentalization is concerned, from some of the stuff that I was, and this is all just, I'm just listening to this guy talk about, information that's in the Quran, information that is in the Apocrypha. I'm not necessarily skilled in these books, but he is, he's the subject matter expert. And now I'm hearing it from different fields. Like, I heard it from a woman and she's like in her 30s. And I'm like, just randomly meet her. Just went to a funeral, randomly meet her. Thank you. Thank you, Jerusha. I appreciate that. But yeah, like I just randomly meet this young lady and she's like, we're this is what's going on. And then, I talk to, I have a lot of guy friends because I am a part of a community that just has a lot of guys. And so I talk to a lot of men. And also, like, I grew up with brothers. So I just have I don't know, a brother, maybe I have a good sister vibe. But I talk to a lot of men that have been so turned off from their religious upbringing that they're just like, fuck it, basically. And I mean, I don't disagree. When I when I was trying to find a church, there was something deep inside of me that really wanted something extraordinary, and I knew that there was something extraordinary there. And like I kept on going from denomination to denomination, from church to church, really looking for this piece, this like missing puzzle piece. And it took a long time. Like I didn't find it until I was in my mid 30s. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's it. That's that makes a lot more sense. That's fitting into my puzzle piece here." But I had a hard time going from denomination to denomination, just feeling like there was something missing, and then like I wanted that awesome feeling. And even the things that I did listen to, they were like, feelings have nothing to do with your spiritual existence. And that is bullshit. Whoever says that to you, don't even listen to them, because it is like you should have emotional experiences. You should be like exhilarated. Like you should feel connected on your all of your body should be activated and like almost be swept away into how beautiful it is. Like your mind is just getting swept away in this vortex. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with vortexes, but it's just like a tornado. And in a tornado, it's like there's this spot of perfection in that swirl, because it's like dragging heaven down to your spot. So you want to be in this vortex. And I say this because I do ballroom dancing, and ballroom, sorry, I'm all over the place today. I'm not sorry, but I'm kind of scatterbrained at the moment, just feeling it, but let me flow. In a vortex, like that vortex is bringing down heaven to you, even though it's like causing all this chaos, right? And I do ballroom dancing, and some of my favoriteest moments are when I'm like being spun around. Like I kind of just let go and I let my lead do the leading, and I just like spin around the ballroom dance floor, and it like does something to your head. Like you just feel like you're in heaven. That's great. Oh yeah, I remember that. I will been dead. I almost was dead. You didn't say me play. I am in Jesus. I'm in Jesus right now. Come help me. I will been dead. Black fam, I don't know what's going on with you right now. I can't tell if you're in a positive or negative state, but being in Jesus is okay. He got it. He was doing the stuff that I was like, there's things he's doing that just it's not being impressed on me in these blasé sermons. It just the, it was there was something missing. It was like this connection. I wanted to feel it. Like I don't know. So I guess just kind of going back to the religious compartmentalization. This lady that I'm speaking to at this memorial that I went to. We're sitting there and like we had just met. Like I didn't know her from anybody else. I didn't even know her name until like I had to like look her up on Facebook after, because I didn't even think like, oh, I should get her number and like we should just continue to connect. Like we're having like the discussion. It's on my mind right now. It's been in my like field right now. Let's talk about it. Yeah, Jerusha says, I agree with you. If you don't feel anything, there probably isn't anything happening. And I believed the guy that said that if you're experiencing feelings about God, then that's not right. And I was like, what? That makes little sense to me. But I believed him. I was like, okay, well, I guess if I'm having feelings, then they're not right. And that can't be further from the truth. So feel away, be feel alive, because that, dude, having emotions is so fun. Makes you feel alive. Like, it's a beautiful experience, and we should grasp onto it and appreciate having those feelings. And I only say that because I froze my feelings for so many years. And when I found some Christian mystics, I was like, oh, okay, they are feeling. They're letting themselves just feel and be loved in that light. And that's where we want to be. And we want to seek truth. And does it really matter, if interdimensional or outer dimensional beings, or, beings from other realms are coming and they're embodying, these incubator babies? Does it really matter? Because, like, in my opinion, like, the future is already won. There's no possibility that I think that in the future that, Jesus lost. He already won. And that's like, that timeline is already set. But I guess, like, with what's being taught in that podcast is, is this going on? And, but at the end of the day, is that going to be a fear response that you're like, oh my gosh, these interdimensional beings are coming and they're blah, 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 blah? Or is it I mean, they can come, they can try, but I don't think they're going to win. What does God actually mean? You mean like the word God, or what does God mean by something, I guess? I just say God. I mean, I use it, I interchange it. I went to my reservation and I was like, I'm just going to say the Great Spirit from now on. Or I'm going to say Creator from now on. And really, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really want to play the semantics game. Stranagus, God is love and vice and versa versa. Yes. What does the word God actually mean? I mean, it's a word that we use. It's an elevated elite state, supreme being. Something created us. And I mean, I think about, like I said, I went a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. I went to my reservation and I was like, nope, I'm just going to say Great Spirit from now on. And I didn't do that. It's just, I flow. I have to just flow state. And in that moment, like, I was really inspired to do that and switch it all up. And, I really do switch it all up. Sometimes I do say creator. Sometimes I do say, all these other things. I don't really want to get involved in that. Like, it's pointless for me to get involved into arguments about the semantics of a word. Just as long as we all understand. That's why the Bible is great. That's why the Quran is great. Like, the Bible's great because it's a very heavily distributed book that holds stories in it that most people have read. So when you go back to tell the story, they know what they've read the story for themselves, so they have their own, perspective on it. But you're able to connect with those stories. I mean, NRAY, maybe. Generator, operator, destructor. but I'm still I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Same translated in Hinduism. I mean, I could say Great Spirit, I could say Creator. I know people that won't say God, they won't call God Him. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, there is no gender in heaven, there is no genders. So, I don't know. Getting involved in the semantics of words when really it's like, are we on the same plane here? Are we talking about the same thing? And some people logically, they're stuck in that logic brain where they can't look past that. They're like, it has to be set here. You can't look past it. But the people that say like, oh yeah, I'm right, you're wrong. So I'm not going to listen to anything. So I'm right, you're wrong, Catholic. I'm not going to read your apocryphal book or whatever it's called, apocrypha. I'm not going to read those books. It wasn't included in the King James version of the Bible, and so I'm not going to entertain it. And I've thought that before, and I've changed my mind on it. Three entities. I'm not going to get into a Trinity debate here, and Ray. I've been in too many Trinity debates that I'm just not gonna. I'm not going there. I'll talk about religious. I'll talk about lots of things, but I'm just. I have to think a little bit more on it. I have to research a little bit more on it before I. My friend, I guess he did a really good discussion on what the three entities are, but at least for the Trinity, his understanding. And I would tend to like probably listen to what he has to say because he's not going to be a dick about it. Let's just be real. He's just not going to be a dick about it. But I think if we start, and I'm not saying like what you're saying, and Ray is bad or anything like that. I'm just not interested in debating the semantics of things. I think we can use, just like in algebraic equations, we can leave x for stuff and still find answers. And you might be right. And you're welcome to send me a message. I think all of my socials are on there. So if you want to find me on social and you want to chat with it about it, and I'd be happy to, and see if there's something there. I have a few people coming on next week. I don't know if I'll do it on YouTube, all of them, but if I do it on Facebook or if I do it on other platforms, I'll make sure to get the uploads on here. But I'm going to be doing a lot of discussions about energy. I'm going to be on somebody's podcast. So I think I have like 3 or 4 podcasts lined up just for Celestic Intelligence as far as me representing or bringing people onto my channel. Well, if you guys want to message me some more information, something that's easy to read, quick to read. Not that I have attention deficit or anything like that. I just have a busy mind, and I do a lot of different things, and I've been working. I just wanted to pop on, and actually I was only going to be on for like 15 minutes, and now here I am like 30 minutes 30 minutes in, like, oh God, guys, we're just having some moments. We're just waiting. I have to wait. I was going to do some tuning activations, but the kids are being really noisy. Anyhow, well, it's been beautiful chatting with you guys. If you have anything that you want to message me, please go ahead. You can email me, Amelie at celesticintelligence.com. You can reach out to me on my socials. So, whichever way you want to do that, I'm happy to look at what you have to say. I just listen as a human design reflector. I my the best way that I gain perspective is like listening to people. So I gather information and I kind of sit with it, and then I almost wait until it's like just burst, ready to burst, and that's when I'm like, okay, now is the time to share it. Now is the time that it needs to be said, which makes a really great sounding board for everybody. It's the ultimate mirror. But anyhow, I do personal tuning fork sessions if you guys are interested in that. I think I have my Buy Me a Coffee is on there, and if you look in my products on Buy Me a Coffee, you can get a tuning fork activation. We can dial it into whatever you need. For the most part, I like to do central nervous system, vagus nerve stimulation just to help you to get your body to rest and digest so that it can start repairing itself if you're feeling like kind of out of sorts. I also have I have a lot of organ, bone, and muscle tuning forks as well to help you with those issues. Drew, show you're funny. You don't need to be sorry, but not into the Trinity thing though. Threesomes aren't for me. That's funny. So yep, buy me a coffee, or if you guys feel interested in helping support me and just what I'm doing here and kind of sharing this information with you, really sparking some interesting conversations. I'd love that. You can also do that on Buy Me a Coffee as well, I believe. Otherwise, my Facebook and Instagram and Substack are lodged up in there somewhere. So please give me a follow there. If you're not following here on YouTube, please also give me a follow. And I am going to be going live a lot this week. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link in my bio, my Celestic Intelligence bio. And then also on Tuesdays, I go live at 11 a.m. on Pacific Daylight Time, and that's every Tuesday. And I have a long form discussion about whatever topic it was. Last week's topic was about unconditional and conditional giving and receiving, and so we'll work on it's however much you want to give, Juan. I'm not gonna say that. It's how much value have you gotten out of the information that I've been providing. And I'm going to do some more of these little lives because I have a lot of topics that I have to kind of scratch off my list here. And I think they're fun. So I hope you guys had a good evening. You have a request though? Okay. Are you able to message me on my email, Amelie at celesticintelligence.com? I can't pop it in the chat. I don't know how to do that. Well, thank you, you guys. I'm glad you loved it. I will see you guys later. And I think I'm going live I haven't decided where I'm going to go live yet, but I will be live on Monday. So follow me on Facebook and follow me here on YouTube so you can get the notifications. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.